So that tells you one thing. You have a huge amount of JP Morgan covering at $78 near the low. That tells you a whole bunch of stuff as well. So a couple of things happened last week. I told the whole community I was getting out. I started warning I was feeling a little bit skittish around Wednesday. Thursday night, I did an ad hoc update that's only for our premium community, trading metamorphosis members. And I said, I've closed absolutely everything that is retail long precious metals. The only trade I was holding on was short Bitcoin and Ethereum across a number of different platforms. And that I was quite happy to have on a set and forget, take profits and stops are in. And I went away relaxed because most of my big size trading, which had been on the precious metals, was now closed. Banking at all-time highs, despite withdrawals, accounts at all-time highs. Let's talk fundamentals. You have a divergence in the price between China and between the casino, not so big on delivery market, versus the delivery market in Shanghai. This is what's going on. Neckline, roughly here, $85. This would be our armpit 1, and that's our armpit 2. Those are the points of interactions with the neckline. This is a complex left shoulder and is actually an inverted HVF. We'll draw that for you too. And then this is your big head. You'll note that it's spiky left glute, high volatility, more rounded price behavior as the market is calming. A calming market tends to go up. A volatile market is usually referenced in downsides. And then there is armpit 2 and the smaller, less volatile right shoulder that broke there. What typically happens when you break an $85 or any neckline is that you get a breakout, up, and a return move, The only difference is you support here, and that's exactly what's happening. You support and you drop volatility. Again, the man with the eyes for volatility, it's in the name. Volatility funneling. Think of your protein shake. You have the big, broad end, and then you have the tapering into something small enough that it fits into the neck of a bottle. That's how it works. So we're seeing lower volatility sitting on support an $85 neckline for silver. Isn't that amazing? Overall, we think we're going to pop out the top of this and make our way up to 98, which probably means a technical run back above 100. A technical run back above 100, and then you could be in line for a further head and shoulder maybe. If you run that 100, do 104, do a shoulder. This will all be a new head, one big head, and you could continue to work your way back up on what we refer to as nestled heads and shoulders. Gold tends to lead, silver tends to overperform. So after an event such as this, gold on this time frame is actually slightly better.
The Silver Messiah closed all silver positions before the 31 crash banking profits at highs, then bought back at 85 as JP Morgan covered shorts at 78. Proving shorts capitulated silver now sits at 85 neckline of inverted head shoulders pattern, with low volatility signaling explosive move ahead. Targets are 98, then 100, then 104 with HVF pattern, aiming for 333 as gold-silver ratio heads to single digits amid global fiat debt collapse.
We have highly reliable, my best pattern, the HVF method, hunt volatility funnel setup on silver with a target at 333. And inside of that, we have single-digit gold-silver ratio. So that's where you are with silver. That is where you are with silver to discount window. Doesn't mean it starts ripping like it was finishing just before the volatility. No, this is going to be steady, steps up, steps down, tentative, but all the hot leverage got cleared out. All the hot leverage got cleared out. Thankfully, we stood out. When the cops came to the party, we'd already danced up a storm, taken all the hot girls home, and the cops arrived and arrested all the mugs that arrived and were still getting drunk and hammered and were still going to drive their cars home in an absolute state. That's how we did. And now we show up and we're ready to party again, and everyone else is still hungover in PTSD. Continuation is your friend in this trading environment. This is one of the greatest macro bull trends you're going to face. On balance of probabilities, you'll be all right 7 times out of 10, and the upside asymmetry reward to a tightly managed stock is always going to make those trades incredibly worth your while. Imagine you had a stop there and a target somewhere up there. You can see that the risk, this amount versus that amount, is quite a lot less. So we're just showing you in basic scribbles. This is what we specialize in. This is what we specialize in. Fast moving breakouts based off low volatility to higher volatility expansions. This is what we specialize in. To find out more, click the link below and book a call. It's in the notes. Book that call. If you're unsure and it's the first time you're chatting or watching one of ours, grab the free mini series. Get a few videos explaining you 1 or 2 of the basic principles, just to fly past. Quick and easy, 1 video a day for, I think it's 6 days. So that's a rejection, and this is a rejection of the downside, rejection of the high side, too much too soon, and then suddenly coming back up with that hammer. It's the perfect counter response to an otherwise bearish candle. That is 2 weeks. We've done monthly. We're doing King anti-fiat, which is gold. King anti-fiat is gold. Now we'll drop you one more time, and it only gets more bullish for me. Now the shooting star is actually a red body one. It wasn't at the absolute lowest point, but it was pretty much on the lower third. A very good textbook shooting star, kind of like that. And on a much smaller degree that, and you could even argue that. What you'll notice about all these examples, and you could even argue that, is that despite them, you're a whole bunch higher today. So who counted how many Bitcoin maximalists started mentioning rotation trade? Did that happen? I haven't been around. I haven't been watching. How many of them said, rah, ha, ha, this is, look how volatile gold is, unlike, and silver. Unlike us Bitcoiners. Sadly, they may be keeping a little quiet now at the moment because, of course, they're in a bear flag collapsing, and MicroStrategy is also rolling over rather nasty. And your future FTX situation might well be a strategy one for this particular bull market. This is absolutely a negated candle with this hammer. You had your reversal, and now your reversal is being reversed. Simple candlestick analysis. You are not long enough. You would have been long earlier. You would have been long with our community sooner, but it's still not too late. Gold and silver. The other point I want to make that I was also making to our premium guys earlier, and the key thing is when you get the news, is you'd made 50 on the downside of, let's go back up. You always start on the macro. You'd made 50 on the downside of the gold-silver ratio. You'd smashed a key level there that we put in there in the dashed blue line. You came all the way back up, and now you're going to dribble your way back down. It may take longer for us to get up that head of steam where it gets to that point just before the last rejection. Remember, we started slow. You got spoiled near the end. It was too good. It was coming too fast. You got a tiny bit spoiled. You may need the gold-silver ratio a couple of times to come down here before you let go. And we start making new numbers. That could happen, for example. It's a key level. You were up at 107 over here, and you've been as high as nearly 100 through 128. So this isn't going to happen just because you want it to happen in a hurry. Again, it takes a while to build up that level of momentum. It has to become obvious again. There's a lot of people that think that's it, that's the top. A lot of people think you're not going to see a new high until 2030 on silver and all sorts of things. If you're growing your account in one of the biggest macro bull moves in history. Yes, friends, you have a globally synchronized fiat and debt-based collapse. I'm going to keep saying that until you wake up at night and you realize it. You have a globally synchronized, particularly of the West, synchronized fiat debt, same thing, money today or money later with a rental agreement based collapse. Buying power is 100% slipping very violently to the downside. Some of you will be asking, so what happened? What happened on when you left? I'll come to that in a minute, I'm sure. What's essentially going on is that, particularly in America, as the hegemon, and as I've said before, America sadly is the largest, dirtiest shirt. It's in the Triffin's dilemma definition. Okay, Japan isn't. People aren't demanding yen. They don't have a license to send out tons of paper for yen. Yes, they overborrowed locally because they did a property-based boom. They were forced to by the Pharisees of tertiary extraction when they were having too good of a savings problem and selling too much stuff to people and creating too large a trade surplus. And that was your pain. And by the way, shooting star here. Lots of long wicks, lots of long wicks. What's bearish for the gold-silver ratio, friends, is good for you. This is rounded dome and back down for me. It's rounded dome. I'm not saying in one go you're just going to run it though. I think you could do this and you might still respect the 50 level a little longer. So that's why it's not all, hey, moon, just nothing but surge fundamentals. You're broadly going to make your way up steadily with some setbacks, small winding up structures, a smart deft hand in calm markets. After reversal, it starts calm. When it starts to get too fast and furious, you need to start thinking that the party, it's time to leave the party with all the hot girls before the cops arrive and everyone gets arrested for possession of things they shouldn't have. Okay, so there you go. That's what we think is coming on down. Let's have a look at some of those miners. At least we're sharing screen this time, so we can have a look at Heckler, which is one of the ones we pushed as ones that I really like. This is so low compared to the miner, and they're relatively undervalued. That is begging for some call purchase. Don't forget it's gone to 34 recently, and that got itself, what's that? That's about a third off. You'd need $13. It's actually more than a third off. You have to have a look at that. Let's have a look. Let's measure it down. To its low, it was 38%. That's even worse than the silver itself. And at 38%, 0.66. Wow. I mean, and it's barely up off that. This is so, again, the miners, I think, will lag. But then they'll play whale catch up when you get to the latter stage of another surge again, and then you'll potentially be sitting with overperformance being run. You know, it's like, I'm good, I'm out. Close it all. This is where we're going to do it. Technically, it showed us that that was why. I went into quite a bit of detail. We did, I think, an hour plus webinar on it on a Thursday night before, when I should have been packing my motorcycle with gear, because it matters. It matters that the guys hear exactly what I'm doing, why I'm saying it, why I'm doing it. And it came with a prior warning that I was leaning in that direction. So it wasn't like a thumb suck. It's very important not to wear the downside. And I have a primary bull bias. I don't short, but it would have been very profitable. But I'm no interest. I was away. I had a great time, and Bitcoin and Ethereum greatly obliged me. And I'd like the same for you. So book a call if you'd like to find out more. Be courteous and polite, because we also eliminate the wrong kind of profiles. We don't have to have anybody. Truly, believe me, I don't need anybody's money. It's only if you are of the right positive contributory mind, self-actualized in some ways already in life, and ready to maximize your wealth. It's not for everybody. Some people have got the poor virus and they have to live it out. They want to live it out. That's their script. They've decided they can't unlock from it. Go ahead. Don't come and stress. If you have any doubts about us, this channel's been around since 2009. Okay, so the exec summary, let's just re-go. Low vol, bottom picking, doesn't mean it's going to start ripping like a maniac, how it ended before the crash. It means it's going to work its way up slowly with ups and downs, probably giving you small little setups all the way that can be exploited, which as a community we'll be pointing out, and taking cheeky big size with very tight stops on those little, if they work, they don't. If they don't, we take a small loss, even though it's big size, because they'll be tight. And if they work, we've broken additional position size into the trade to take us even further up the ladder. I'll also be looking, as I was mentioning, and that's where I got sidebarred, additional calls on our favorite equities, which include Heckler. I'll run past Heckler with you, AG and one or two others, super quick. And what else? And I'll also be taking out because of the counterparty risk. So there's the reset brain, the market sniper branding, 3 circles. 3 circles. I haven't got 3 hands, unfortunately. And those are the reset, which means banks, liquidity providers are part of the problem and can suddenly kill, take, zeroize whole system of a down type situation. And they feel nothing for you. Ask me. I still haven't got my FTX money back. And that's, you know, that's not a bank. That's small fry stuff. So must take out. Turn it into physical assets. I am generally physical assets, precious metals, but it's also good to buy productive land, other things, title deed, paper must be held. In our community, we are going to be finalizing a broker that'll have us get script for our platinum miners that we'll be buying here. So I've sourced a broker. I will be providing and proving it first myself, and then we'll affiliate it to community members that will see you get share certificates. I've had nothing but problems trying to get share certificates out of Schwab, Interactive Brokers, any of these guys. That means you'll own a platinum miner and you will have your name or your foundation or your trust structure on that and be a claimant on it. And it's going to be second half one of the most dominant metals, in my opinion, as I've said, in this bull run. And it's kept time with silver for last year. It's lagging a bit so far, but it's typical of it. It's sort of lag and mega catch up, lag, boring, mega catch up. So it staircases even more than the others, but it is very valuable, very unique. So we'll be acquiring and accumulating on an ongoing basis with script, probably on a quarterly basis. Once you buy shares, and then every quarter. So we've got a plan. We're going to keep doing this. And that is in a country that produces 80% of the world's platinum. And then Russia's at 11%. So that's going to be very, very valuable. Well, you have to hope you're going to sell quickly, but the banks will go first. Your money will be locked in to get out. Paper is absolutely essential if you have it. There will be multiple claims, and it's only what you can prove, as we've seen before. So some stock, let's look at some miners for you as well and take a look. Did I drop? I didn't finish dropping down on the gold silver ratio. We'll just have a look at that. So you got that spike at the 50 level. We highlighted, by the way, for those that are first time viewers, we highlighted this. You had a structure here. Let's do nice straight lines, not the garbagey ones. We highlighted that, and that gave you the 50 low. And then you had pushback, pushback, pushback. Then you had the final silver surge. Then you got a very beautiful structure here. Now, that was a warning. The upside strength of this momentum, up, down, and then a little bit of thinking, slow, vol, and then surge. That was your surge. That was your surge. And that was part and parcel when it was a confirmatory fact, having just run. And this wind-up was happening at 46 levels, 46 to 46 and a half levels, having run the key level of 50. Probably after 100, the most significant level that you can get.